Hello, guys. Hello. This is your one and only Trish, and this is Cold Case Mysteries After Dark. And today, this one here is a little different today. Um, it is a cold case, but the difference in between these two is the fact that we don't know exactly what happened to her. Um, they don't know whether or not she was murdered or was it suicide. So basically, this is a very, very iffy case, but we still need answers. Um, so that's where you guys come in and basically help help me to decide, you know, what really happened because this case is so toxic turvy to the fact where it will blow your mind. It's so many loopholes in this here case. Um to the fact that I'm very um skeptical about talking about this case, but I really do want to talk about this case. Um this case happened back in 2015 with a young lady by the name of Veronica LaShawn Witcher. Um, like I said, I'm very skeptical in reference of talking about this case because it's a lot of loopholes in this case. But I'm going to talk about this case and hopefully we can get some type of answers. Hopefully we can get um, someone to step in to see, we can finally figure out what happened. Because the family definitely want answers. Um, I want answers. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So, um, basically, with this here story, with this particular story, as I stated, the victim name is Veronica LaShawn Witcher. Um, she she was married, and I'm thinking that she was either separated from her husband, they was going through a divorce, and but she also had a boyfriend. Um, so on January the 30th, she her car was found. So this is the crazy part. So they still don't have answers now today. So I'm gonna go on with this. So on this case was 2015, as I stated. So January the 30th, 2015. She was last seen on January the 30th, 2015. On February the 1st, the family took possession of the car. So someone called um, the family and told the family that Veronica car was found, that they found Veronica's car. Her doors was wide open on the car, and her car was still running. The keys was in the ignition, and they um they found the car. So yes, so the car was on this road, on the road, on this dirt road, and the car was still running. The keys was in the ignition, and they told the family that they found the car. So this was on February the 1st. Okay. So the family took possession of the car and they called her boyfriend to pick up the car and bring the car to his home off of Jolin Way. Okay. So February the 2nd, a missing persons report was filed on Veronica LaShawn Witcher. All right. So during this time, um, in the midst of everything, um, they was, I guess they, searched through the car and everything. Once the car got to the family house, they searched through the car and they didn't, see anything out of the normal, out of the, out of whack or whatever. They didn't notice anything out of whack or whatever. So, you know, a couple of days passed. So from February the 2nd to February the 7th, they started, smelling a stench, you know, and on February the 7th, Richard's decomposed body was found in the back seat of her car by the boyfriend. So the body was under clothing and other materials in the car, allegedly. Allegedly, they didn't see anything at first once the car got back to the house on February the 1st. So on February the 1st, there were no, allegedly, there was nobody in the car. So that's when they filed the police report on the missing person report on February the 2nd. Um, and so the body was underneath clothing and other materials in the back seat of the car. Okay. So she worked at the McDonald's off of Highway 90 in Lake City, Florida. So the polices, they came out, they did their investigation, they, you know, talked to the family, they did everything that needed to be done at that time. And they tried to, you know, call family and friends. This is what was stated um, throughout articles and everything on news reports and all this stuff. They tried to call the family and friends, but the numbers that they had was no longer in service. So the car was found on February the 1st running near Northeast Colorado Street and Broadway Avenue in Lake City, Florida. And nobody stated, whomever called the family and told them that they found her car, they never did call the police. So that right there was already, to me, was already suspicious because I'm if I find a car and the doors are wide open and the person who the car belonged to is not anywhere near that car, or and the car is just abandoned, the first thing that I'm going to do is call the police. Then I will call the family and let them know, well, I found such and such car, but such and such is not near this car, you know, make them aware that, okay, I found her car, but Veronica is not near her car. But I did call the police to make aware that, we have a car here and the car is abandoned. That's the first thing I would have done. I wouldn't have called the family first and then for them to say, bring the car back. Like, number one, that's tampering with evidence. That's evidence. Like, you have messed with evidence. You have basically destroyed the evidence, because anything could have been destroyed during the time of you moving that car, you know, from point A to point B. So basically they had to wait for, toxicology reports and autopsies and all this stuff. And during the time of the autopsies, they didn't find any trauma to the body. Um they still haven't yet reported whether or not they found anything like drugs or anything in her system, as far as the toxicology report. I have been looking for updates and everything, far as whether or not they brought out any updates, far as like the toxicology report or anything like that. Um, but the body was badly decomposed and everything. So who's to say? Um, and then when they did find the body, the car was back at the boyfriend house. And they described the death in the autopsy report as suspicious. They described it as suspicious. And they said that her autopsy was inconclusive. So they didn't even say what was the cause of death. It just said basically that the cause was inconclusive. They don't know what was her cause of death. And they were still waiting for, they did 2 autopsies on her basically. And they was waiting for the results of the toxicology report for the second one and stuff. So, and the deputy said that she was last seen on January 30th and was reported missing in early February. And about a month later, Richard's boyfriend was found. Richard's boyfriend found her body um, in the back seat of her car, which had been parked near his home. Her father, Andrew Richard, Witcher, Richard. Um, he didn't live here. Um, her husband didn't live here. And the suspicious part about it, like the questions was she couldn't put herself under those clothing and under the debris. The keys were still in the car. The car was running. The family believed that she was murdered. She was 43 years old. She was a mother of two. I mean, it just seems so weird and so fishy because if the car was still running, if the car was still running, if the car was still running, and this is just me thinking, if the car was still running, she was she went missing January, right? January the 30th. She was reported. Um, she was last seen January the 30th. So January the 30th to February the 1st. That's a whole day, basically. My thing is the if the car was found still running January the 1st that morning, was the car hot to the touch when they found the car? That's my question. Um, it's so many questions, so many loop. This is what I'm saying, like the loopholes. So many questions that need to be answered that I don't have the answers to, that I need the answers to, um, that they may have the answers to. I just don't have them. I'm basically just like I stated, like I'm doing these cases to bring them back to light, so the family can get justice for their loved ones. And this is one of the ones that I just ran across, and it came to my mind and it came to my interest. And I was like, okay, I can, talk about this one, and hopefully we can get some closure and get some answers about this. Um, it just seems so fishy that whomever found the car, why they didn't call the police first before you called the family. Whomever found the car, did you smell a stench of a decomposed body? Did you notice a body in the back seat? Did you look in the car? Did you notice anything out of the ordinary? Um, did you notice that car there the night before? Was there any lights on that car the night before? Was there any lights on the car that morning when you found the car? I mean, it's a lot of unanswered questions. I mean, it's a lot of questions that I just assumed that, I mean, I don't know, have they gone unanswered? Um, Was her body placed back in that car 5 days before they found her body in that car? Hmm. See, these are things that a lot of people think about, that may have questions about and just afraid to ask. Um, but if you know something, say something. That's my motto. Um, like I stated, I don't know how they're taking this case. I don't know what they are listing this case as. Um, I'm just speaking on this case because I just found it a little out of place and a little awkward, that this young lady passed this way, and they don't know what happened to her. They don't know who did it or what could be the case of, behind her death. So, I mean, I give all praise to the family that we get some type of answers, that you guys get closure, that you guys get justice for Miss Veronica LaShawn Witcher. I pray that someone come forward, if you guys know anything about this case, that you guys go to the police department, that you guys call Crime Stoppers if you guys know anything. I mean, as I stated in my videos before, if you know something, say something. Your voice will be heard. It will be confidential. You don't have to leave your name. They will not ask you for your phone number. They will not ask you who you are. They will not ask you where you live. That's not what they want. They just want to know what happened. Who do you know who did it? What information can you give that may lead to a conviction, that may lead to an arrest, that may lead to this case being reopened, you know, that may lead to justice for this young lady, that may lead to justice for her family. Just think about it, if it was your family, if it was your child. You want justice for your family. So do the right thing and speak out. Nobody deserves to not know what happened to their child. Nobody deserves to not know who did this to their child or to their family member. Everybody deserves closure. So, as I stated in all of my videos, the case may be cold, but your story will come unfold. So, let's get the truth out there. Let's get these cases uncold. Let's get these cases resolved. Let's bring justice to these families. Peace, love, and blessings. Cold Case Mysteries After Dark. This is Trish. Y'all have a blessed night.